The big space station called Concorde hung in the black emptiness between stars. It looked like a giant silver wheel, turning slowly. Inside its round halls and wide docking bays, ships from many alien races had already arrived. The ships were huge and scary. Some had sharp spikes. Some glowed with strange colors. Every species came to show power. They wanted the others to know they were strong. A long Vorath dreadnought floated near the main dock. Its dark red hull was covered in heavy guns. Rows of tall, scaled warriors stood outside in perfect lines. Their armor shone under the station lights. The Vorath were known across the galaxy for never losing a war they started. Their leader, High Commander Vexor, watched everything from a high balcony. His yellow eyes moved slowly. He liked to see fear in other eyes. Next came the Xanthari swarm ships. They did not look like normal ships. They looked like living clouds of small moving parts. Thousands of tiny drones flew together in shapes that changed every few seconds. The Xanthari queen stayed inside the biggest cloud. She never showed her real body. She spoke through one small drone that floated near her table. Everyone knew the swarm could cover a whole planet in minutes and eat metal like food. Then there were the Krellin battle cruisers. They were slow and round, like giant turtles made of steel. Their weapons could burn cities from far away. The Krellin delegates wore thick suits and moved carefully. They did not like fast movement. Many other races filled the docking area. The tall, thin Lirathi with their crystal ships. The short, strong Gorvaks with claws that cut through rock. All of them brought soldiers. All of them brought weapons. All of them wanted to look dangerous at the peace talks. Then something small appeared on the sensors. A white shuttle came in slow and quiet. It had no guns on the outside, no extra armor, no fighter escorts. Just one plain ship with the simple blue circle and white lines of Earth. It looked tiny next to the giant alien ships. The station control asked for permission to dock. The answer came back polite and short. Permission granted. The shuttle touched the dock with a soft bump. The door opened. Two humans stepped out. The first was a man named John Miller. He was 42 years old. He had short brown hair and calm green eyes. He wore a simple gray suit with the Earth emblem on the chest. No medals, no rank signs. He carried nothing in his hands. Behind him walked Laura Davis. She was 35. Her dark hair was tied back in a neat bun. She wore the same gray suit. In her hand she held only a small data pad. No gun, no knife, no armor. They both looked like normal office workers who got lost on the way to a meeting. Many eyes watched them walk down the long corridor to the main hall. Alien soldiers turned their heads. Some laughed in their own languages. The translators made the laughs sound cold and sharp. High Commander Vexor leaned forward on the balcony. His long tongue flicked out once. "Look at that," he said to his officers. "The humans sent 2 soft mammals and a toy boat. Where is their famous fleet? Where are the Death World killers everyone talks about?" One of his officers, a younger Vorath named Krax, made a low hiss that meant amusement. "Maybe they are afraid. Maybe they know they cannot match us." Vexor's mouth opened in what passed for a smile among his people. Rows of sharp teeth showed. "We will see. This will be fun." John and Laura walked through the wide doors into the great meeting hall. The room was huge. A round table sat in the center. Holoscreens floated above it. Bright lights came from every wall. Delegates from 20 races already sat in their places. Some had many arms. Some had no arms at all. Some breathed through tubes. All of them stared at the 2 humans. A Xanthari drone floated close. Its voice came out flat and mechanical. "You are the Earth representatives?" "Yes," John said. His voice was clear and friendly. "Ambassador John Miller. This is my assistant, Laura Davis. We are happy to be here." The drone turned in a small circle. "You brought no military escort, no guard, no weapons." Laura answered this time. "We came to talk about peace. Weapons make talking harder. A low sound moved around the table. Some called it laughter, some called it disbelief. Vexor stood up. He was very tall, over 8 feet. His armor made soft clicks when he moved. Peace, he repeated. The words sounded strange in his mouth. You speak of peace, while the rest of us shows strength. Look around, human. Every race here brought proof of power. We show our fleets, we show our armies. What do you show? 2 bodies and empty hands? John looked up at the big Vorath without fear. We show respect. We believe words can be stronger than guns when both sides want to listen. More sounds of disbelief came from the table. A Krellin delegate banged one heavy fist on the metal surface. The sound echoed. Words! Always words with you humans. You hide on your wet little planet and talk. We conquer, we build, we take what we want. If you have no strength, why should we listen? Laura stepped forward one small step. Because we are here, because we traveled many light years to sit at this table, because we choose to talk instead of fight. That takes its own kind of strength. The room became quiet for a moment. Then Vexor laughed again, this time louder. Pretty words, but words will not save you if someone decides to test you. He pointed one long claw at the small white shuttle visible through the big window. That toy will burn in seconds if my ships open fire. Your planet will follow soon after. Think about that before you refuse our terms. John did not look away. We came to find agreement, not to threaten, not to be threatened. Let us begin the talks. The station AI announced the start of the first session. Holoscreens lit up with maps of trade routes, mining zones, and border lines. The real work would begin now. But everyone in the room felt the same thing deep inside. The 2 humans had no army behind them, no ships waiting in the dark, no soldiers ready to jump from hidden places. They stood alone. And yet they did not shake. They did not look down. They did not beg. High Commander Vexor sat back in his chair. His claws tapped slowly on the armrest. He decided something in that moment. He would push these humans hard. He would make them show weakness. He would make them break. Because if they had nothing to bring to a peace summit, then they had nothing at all. The talk started. John and Laura sat quietly at their small section of the table. They listened. They answered when asked. They stayed calm. Outside, the giant alien fleets waited. Inside, 2 humans from Earth waited too. And nobody knew yet what waited behind their calm faces. The great circular hall of the Concord station was bright and quiet at first. Soft lights glowed from the ceiling. The round table in the middle was made of dark, polished metal. Chairs of different sizes and shapes stood around it for every kind of body. Air smelled clean, like after a rain, because the station filters worked hard to keep it fresh. Delegates sat down one by one. High Commander Vexor took the biggest chair. His tail curled around the back. The Zenthari Queen's small drone hovered above her empty seat, like a silver insect. The Krellin delegate sat low and heavy, his suit making quiet creaks. Others filled the rest of the places. Some had 4 eyes. Some had no mouths at all. All of them watched the 2 humans. John Miller and Laura Davis sat at their small section. They looked small next to the others. John folded his hands on the table. Laura placed her data pad in front of her. She did not open it yet. They both kept their faces calm, like people waiting for a bus. The station AI spoke in a smooth voice. The Summit for Galactic Accord will now begin. First item, display of mutual strength and capability, as per tradition. Everyone knew what came next. It was the same every time. Each race showed what they could do if peace failed. It was not a fight. It was a warning. Look at us. Think twice before you cross us. The lights dimmed a little. Holoscreens rose from the center of the table like bright flowers. The first to go was the Vorath. Vexor stood. He raised one clawed hand. The screen above his place lit up big and red. Images appeared. Long lines of Voraf soldiers marched across a burned planet. Their boots kicked up black dust. Tanks rolled behind them, bigger than houses. Ships filled the sky like angry birds. One clip showed a city wall falling in seconds, under heavy fire. Another showed a whole fleet turning an asteroid field into dust. Numbers scrolled beside the pictures. 3 million warriors ready. Conquest record, 42 worlds in the last cycle. The other delegates nodded slowly. Some made low sounds of respect. Vexor sat back down. His yellow eyes looked pleased. Next came the Zenthari. The small drone spoke. We present the Swarm. The holo changed. A green-blue planet appeared. Then the sky above it turned dark. Millions of tiny drones fell like rain. They covered fields, cities, oceans. Metal towers bent and broke as the swarm ate through them. In minutes the planet looked like a dead rock. A new number appeared. Adaptive biomass conversion rate, 98% in under 1 hour. The drone floated in a slow circle. We do not conquer, we consume and grow. The room felt colder after that. The Krellin delegate went third. His holo showed slow, heavy cruisers moving through space. Each one fired a thick beam of white light. A moon cracked in half. Pieces floated away. Then the screen showed ground troops. Big Krellin in thick armor walked through fire. Nothing stopped them. Their claws tore open tanks like paper. The display ended with a simple line. Unbreakable defense. No retreat, ever. One after another the races showed their power. The Lirathi projected crystal ships that bent light and became invisible. The Gorvaks showed drills that could dig through a planet's core in days. Each display was louder, brighter, more frightening than the last. Finally the light reached the human section. Everyone looked at John and Laura. The two humans did not stand. John stayed seated. He looked around the table once, then spoke in a clear voice. Earth has prepared its display. A small holo rose from their part of the table. It was no bigger than a dinner plate. The image appeared soft and blue. It showed a city on Earth. Tall buildings stood next to green parks. People walked on wide streets. Children ran and laughed. A dog chased a ball. Birds flew above a lake. The sun shone warm. No guns, no soldiers, no burning worlds. The picture stayed there for 10 long seconds. Then it faded. Silence filled the hall. Vexor leaned forward. His claws dug into the table. Small scratches appeared in the metal. Is this all? His voice came out sharp. A peaceful city? Children playing? You insult us. Laura answered before John could. This is what we protect. This is why we talk instead of fight. A Gorvaks delegate made a rough laugh. You protect toys and pets, while we protect empires. You have no strength to show. John looked at the Gorvaks. We showed what matters most to us. The rest stays at home. Vexor slammed his fist down. The whole table shook. Enough. You come to a peace summit with nothing. No fleet, no army, no proof you can even defend one small moon. You expect us to sign papers with weaklings who bring pictures of flowers? Many delegates nodded. Some whispered in their own languages. The words came through translators as things like cowards and fools. Laura tapped her datapad once. A new small holo appeared beside the first one. This time it showed numbers. Simple white text on black. Population of Earth, 8 billion. Standing military, 2.1 million active personnel. Reserve forces, 18 million trained. Combat vessels, 412 capital class, plus support craft. Planetary defense grid, full orbital coverage, kinetic interceptors, directed energy systems. Special operations units, classified number, high readiness. Then one line in bigger letters, no deployment to neutral zones, ever. The delegates read it. Some looked confused, some looked angry. Vexor hissed. Numbers on a screen mean nothing without proof. Where are your ships? Where are your warriors? You hide them because you have none. John spoke again. We do not hide them. We keep them home. If we brought them here, this station would not be safe for talks. Our people are trained for one thing above all, to win when there is no other choice. We leave them behind, so everyone can still have a choice. A Larathi delegate tilted her long head. You claim power, but show none. How do we trust words from a race that fears to show its teeth? Laura looked straight at her. Because we are the only ones here who do not need to show teeth to sit at this table. Everyone else brought proof because they are afraid of looking weak. We do not have that fear. The room went quiet again. Vexor stood up slowly. His shadow fell across the human section. You play games with us, mammals. You think calm faces make you strong. But calm faces break easy when real power comes. He pointed one claw at the window. Outside, his dreadnought waited like a sleeping monster. One word from me, and your little white shuttle becomes dust. Then we talk again, on my terms. John did not move. We came to find fair terms for everyone, not just for the loudest voice. Vexor's eyes narrowed. Then let the talks begin. But know this, if you refuse what we ask, there will be no more pretty pictures of children, only fire. The station AI spoke again, proceeding to Agenda Item 1, Trade Corridor Allocations. Maps appeared on the big central screen. Lines of color showed routes through space. Some crossed human space. Some crossed Vorath space. Some crossed many territories. John and Laura leaned forward a little. They started to read the proposals. The other delegates watched them closely. They expected the humans to back down soon. They expected fear to show on those calm faces. But John and Laura just listened and took notes. And outside the window, the small white shuttle waited quietly in the dark. The talks moved on to the hard parts. Maps glowed on the big screen in the center of the hall. Red lines showed trade routes that many races wanted to control. Blue lines showed old borders. Green dots marked rich mining zones full of rare metals. Everyone wanted more than they had. High Commander Vexor spoke first on the trade issue. His voice came out deep and rough through the translator. The corridor between the Orion Arm and the Perseus Fringe must belong to the Vorath Empire. It passes close to 3 of our colony worlds. Humans have no real claim there. Your ships barely use it. John Miller looked at the map for a long moment, then he answered in a calm way. That corridor is the shortest safe path from Earth to several neutral markets. We use it for food shipments and medical supplies. Closing it would hurt our people and many others who depend on fair trade. Vexor showed his sharp teeth. Your people can take the long way around, or pay us tolls. 50% of cargo value sounds fair. A low sound of agreement came from some delegates. The Krellin banged his fist once in support. The Zenthari drone floated closer to the map like it was measuring the distance. Laura Davis tapped her datapad. A small window opened with numbers. 50% would raise prices so high that trade would stop for everyone. Smaller worlds would suffer most. Starvation would follow in less than 2 years on at least 8 planets we supply. Vexor waved one claw. Small worlds should choose stronger friends, or learn to grow their own food. John shook his head slowly. We will not agree to terms that cause harm on purpose. Find another way. The Vorath commander leaned forward. His yellow eyes became narrow slits. You refuse because you think you are safe, but you are not. You sit here with no guards, no ships waiting outside, 2 soft mammals against 20 races with real power. He stood up. His chair scraped back loud. Let me make this simple. Give us the corridor. Give us mining rights on the 3 human border moons. And give us one of your shipyards for joint use. Do this, and we sign peace today. The room waited. Everyone looked at the 2 humans. John spoke without anger. Those demands take away our ability to feed our people and defend ourselves. We cannot accept them. Vexor laughed. The sound was cold. Then we take them anyway. He turned to his officers standing near the wall. Bring the demonstration team. 4 Vorath guards stepped forward. They were bigger than the others. Their armor was black and thick. Long rifles hung on their backs. Sharp blades curved from their wrists. They moved like hunters who enjoyed the hunt. Vexor pointed at Laura. "You, stand up." Laura stayed seated. "This is a peace summit. No one agreed to violence here." The commander ignored her. "Grab her. Show these humans what happens when they say no." One guard moved fast. He reached out with a big clawed hand and closed it around Laura's arm. The grip was strong enough to break bone if he wanted. John stood up slow and smooth. "Let her go. Last warning." The guard laughed. Another guard stepped closer to John with his rifle raised. The other delegates watched. Some looked excited. Some looked nervous. None moved to stop it. Laura looked at the clawed hand on her arm. Then she looked at John. A small nod passed between them. In the next second, everything changed. John turned his body just a little. His hand came up quick. He grabbed the guard's wrist and twisted in a small circle. The big Vorath lost balance. John pulled hard. The guard flew forward and crashed into the table edge. Metal bent. The guard slid to the floor with a loud thump. She stepped inside the reach of the guard holding her. Her free hand came up under his elbow. She pushed up fast while stepping back. The joint popped. The guard roared in pain and let go. Laura spun low. Her legs swept out. The guard's feet left the ground. He landed hard on his back. Air rushed out of him in a hiss. The other two guards charged. John met the first one. He ducked under a swinging claw. His elbow drove into the Vorath's side. Something cracked. The guard doubled over. John grabbed the rifle strap and pulled. The weapon came free. He turned it around and slammed the butt into the back of the guard's head. Not hard enough to kill, just hard enough to sleep. Laura faced the last guard. He swung his blade arm. She leaned back so the edge missed her face by an inch. Then she stepped in close. Her hands found his armor joints. She pressed and twisted at the same time. The guard's arm locked straight. He could not move it. Laura kicked behind his knee. He dropped. She stepped on his chest and took his rifle. She broke it open with quick hands and let the pieces fall. 4 guards lay on the floor. None moved much. None bled. They just groaned and tried to breathe. The hall was dead quiet. Vexor stared. His mouth hung open. His claws gripped the table so hard that small cracks appeared in the metal. The Zenthari drone floated back a little. The Krellin delegates sat very still. The Larathi covered their eyes with thin hands, like they could not believe it. John helped one guard sit up. He spoke soft. "You okay?" The guard looked up with wide eyes. He nodded once, slow. Laura handed back the broken rifle pieces to another guard. "Sorry about that. We did not want to hurt anyone." Vexor found his voice. It came out low and shaking. "2 of you, against my best." "How?" John looked at him straight. "We train every day for moments like this. Not to show off, to protect what we love. We do not bring armies here because one squad could end this station. We do not want that." Laura added in a quiet voice, "We came to talk. You chose to test us. Now you know." The delegates looked around at each other. No one laughed now. No one whispered insults. Vexor sat down heavy. His tail curled tight around his chair leg. "This changes nothing," he said. But his voice sounded weaker. "We still want the corridor." John sat back down too. "Then let us keep talking. But no more hands on my people." The station AI spoke after a long pause. Resuming agenda. Next item, mining rights allocation. The maps changed again, but the air felt different now. Everyone watched the 2 humans closer. They no longer looked small. They looked like people who carried something very big inside them. Something that stayed home most of the time. Something that only came out when someone pushed too far. Outside the window, the small white shuttle still floated quiet. But now, no one called it a toy. The silence in the great hall felt thick and heavy. 4 Vorath guards still lay on the floor. They groaned softly and tried to push themselves up. Their black armor had small dents now. The broken rifle pieces rested near Laura's feet, like broken toys. No one moved to help the guards. Everyone stared at the 2 humans. High Commander Vexor sat frozen in his chair. His claws stayed locked on the armrests. The yellow in his eyes looked dull for the first time. He opened his mouth once, then closed it again. Words would not come easy. John Miller stayed standing for a moment longer. He looked around the table slowly. His face showed no anger, no pride, just calm. He reached down and offered a hand to the nearest guard. The big reptile looked at the hand like it might bite. Then he took it. John pulled him up with steady strength. The guard stood on shaky legs. Laura picked up the last broken rifle part. She held it out to another guard. "We did not mean to break your tools. We can fix them if you want." The guard took the pieces without a word. His eyes stayed wide. Vexor finally found his voice. It came out low and rough. "You dare touch my elite? You dare make them look weak?" John turned to face him. "We did not start this. Your people put hands on my assistant. We finished it. That is all." A Zenthari drone floated forward a small distance. Its voice stayed flat. 2 unarmed humans defeated 4 armed Vorath in open view. "This requires explanation." Laura answered without looking away from Vexor. "No mystery. We train from childhood. Not just to fight, to think fast, to stay calm, to end fights quick and clean. Our world is hard. It teaches us early." The Krellin delegate spoke next. His voice rumbled deep. "You say you train every day, yet you bring no army here. Why hide such skill?" John sat down again. He folded his hands. "We do not hide. We choose. If we brought even 1 full squad, this station would feel different. People would not talk freely. They would fear. Peace needs trust. Trust dies when guns stand behind every word." Vexor stood up slow. His tail lashed once. "Trust? You speak of trust after you break my guards?" Laura met his stare. "We broke nothing permanent. Your guards will walk again tomorrow. Bruised pride heals faster than broken bones. We could have done worse. We did not." The room stayed quiet. Delegates looked at their own guards standing along the walls. Some moved hands closer to weapons. Others did not. Vexor walked around the table. His steps made heavy thuds. He stopped in front of John. He towered over the seated human. "You think this makes you strong? A quick trick? A fast hand? My fleet waits outside. 1 order and your shuttle burns. Then your planet learns real power." John did not stand. He looked up without fear. "You can give that order. But think first. What happens after?" Vexor laughed. The sound felt forced now. "After? Your world joins the long list of conquered places. Simple." Laura tapped her datapad once more. A new small holo appeared. This one showed live feed from Earth, not a city this time. Training fields. Wide open land under gray skies. Small groups of humans moved through drills. Some wore light armor. Some carried no weapons at all. They faced machines that looked like Vorath soldiers. The machines charged. The humans moved like shadows. One group turned a hopeless corner trap into a fast win. Another squad faced 20 drones and left them broken without a scratch. Numbers ran beside the images. Reaction time averages. Success rates. Kill ratios and simulations. One line stood out bigger than the rest. Projected outcome against combined galactic fleets. Decisive victory within 4 hours. Vexor stared at the holo. His claws opened and closed. Lies. Simulations mean nothing. John spoke soft. "These are not games. These are records from last month. Real drills against real threats we build ourselves. We know what your ships can do. We study. We prepare, quietly." The Zenthari drone turned in a fast circle. You claim victory over us all? With what force? Laura answered, not with numbers, with will, with training that never stops, with people who see no difference between impossible and just harder. Our history is full of times we should have lost. We did not. We learned. A Larathi delegate spoke for the first time. Her voice sounded thin and clear. If you are so ready, why come alone? Why risk this? John looked at her. Because alone we can still choose peace. If we come with fleets, the choice ends. Someone always fires first, then everyone loses. We leave our strength at home, so the table stays open, so voices stay calm, so deals can happen. Vexor turned away. He walked back to his chair. His tail dragged. Pretty words again, but words do not stop plasma. He sat down hard. Then he keyed his wrist comm. The device glowed red. Bridge, this is High Commander Vexor. Target the human shuttle. Weapons hot. Prepare to fire on my mark. Gasps came from some delegates. The Krellin leaned forward. The Zenthari drone went still. John touched a small band on his own wrist. It looked like a watch. Nothing fancy. A giant hollow bloomed above the whole table. Much bigger than before. It filled the ceiling. Live feed from many places at once. Small ships moved in tight patterns. They looked ordinary until they accelerated. Then they danced between bigger shadows that looked like Vorath dreadnoughts in mock battle. The small ships won every time. Another section showed ground teams. Humans in gray suits ran through smoke. Explosions went off around them. They kept moving. They turned traps back on the attackers. A third section showed space fighters. One pilot faced 5 enemy craft. He twisted and rolled. Every shot missed him. His shots did not miss. Data scrolled fast. Loss ratios, survival times, victory margins. All against simulated versions of every fleet in the room. Laura spoke into the quiet. This is why we never bring our army to peace summits. They are not for display. They are for when every other way fails. If we brought them here today, no one would leave this station alive. Not us, not you, not the station. We keep them home so you can still walk away with your pride and your life. Vexor's claw hovered over the comm button. His hand shook just a little. John looked straight at him. You can give the order, but ask yourself, do you want to find out how real those numbers are? Or do you want to sign a fair treaty and go home? The comm light stayed red. Vexor's eyes moved from the hollow to John, then to Laura, then to his own guards still on the floor. He lowered his hand. The light went green again. Stand down, he said into the comm. His voice sounded tired. The hollow above faded slow. No one spoke for a long minute. Then the station AI broke the silence. Agenda item, mining rights. Proposals may now be amended. Vexor looked at the table. The Vorath Empire withdraws its demand for full control of the corridor. Murmurs started around the room. John nodded once. Thank you. Laura opened her datapad. We can work from fair shares now. Equal access, shared costs, no one starves. The talk started again, slower this time, careful this time. Outside the big window, the small white shuttle floated quiet in the black. It looked the same as when it arrived, but now everyone knew it carried something more than 2 people. It carried a promise, a quiet promise, that some doors should stay closed, unless someone forced them open. The hall felt different now. The bright lights seemed softer. The air smelled less clean and more real. Delegates sat straighter in their chairs. No one tapped claws on tables anymore. No one laughed behind translators. The 4 Vorath guards had been helped to seats along the wall. They sat quiet, with ice packs on bruises. Their eyes followed John and Laura like they watched something new and strange. High Commander Vexor looked smaller in his big chair. His tail stayed still. He stared at the dark table surface as if answers hid there. The Zenthari drone floated lower than before. The Krellin delegate breathed slow and deep. Everyone waited for someone to speak first. The station AI broke the quiet. Its voice sounded careful. Agenda continues. Mining rights on border moons. Current proposal. Vorath control of all 3 sites. Human counter. Shared access with equal profit split and joint security. Vexor lifted his head slow. We adjust our position. His words came out heavy. The Vorath Empire will accept shared access. 50-50 split on output. No tolls on the corridor. No shipyard demands. A soft sound moved around the table. Not laughter. Not anger. Surprise mixed with respect. John nodded once. Thank you, Commander. That works for us. We can add a clause for yearly review so no one feels trapped later. Laura typed quick on her datapad. New text appeared on the central holoscreen. Simple words, clear numbers, fair terms. One by one, other delegates spoke up. The Lirathi asked for open passage through a small nebula zone. John agreed if safety beacons stayed active. The Gorvaks wanted mining rights on an asteroid belt. Laura offered joint surveys first, to avoid fights over an empty rock. The Zenthari Queen's drone requested data on human bioadaptation tech. John said yes, with limits on military use. Each time the humans answered calm and straight. They gave ground when it made sense. They held firm when it hurt their people. No one pushed too hard anymore. No one tested with claws or words. Hours passed, the big hollow screen filled with signed lines. Green checks appeared next to every item. The station AI read the final summary in a clear voice. Treaty of Concord. All parties agree to open trade corridors, shared mining on border worlds. No new military bases in neutral space. Annual review meetings. Mutual non-aggression for 10 standard cycles. Extensions possible by vote. Delegates pressed palms, claws, tentacles, or lights to the scanner. One by one, the seals glowed gold. Vexor stood last. He walked to the center. His steps sounded heavy, but not angry. He looked down at John and Laura. You could have come with fleets, he said low. You could have burned this place and taken what you want. Why talk instead? John stood too. He met the yellow eyes without blinking. Because talking builds more than burning ever can. We know how to win wars. We also know how to lose them if we start too many. Peace lasts longer when both sides choose it. Laura added soft. Our strength is not just in guns or ships. It is in knowing when not to use them. We leave our army home, so everyone can remember there is another way. Vexor looked at his guards, then at the other delegates, then back at the 2 humans. I thought you were weak. I was wrong. He pressed his claw to the scanner. Gold light flashed one last time. The AI spoke again. Treaty ratified. Summit concluded. Safe travels to all vessels. People stood. Chairs scraped back. Delegates moved toward exits in small groups. Some talked quiet. Some looked back at the human table often. Vexor stayed a moment longer. He spoke only to John. Next time, perhaps we meet on even ground. No tests, just talk. We would like that. The Vorath looked at the hand. Then he took it in his big claw. Careful. No squeeze, just a touch. He turned and walked out. His guards followed slow behind him. The hall emptied. Only John and Laura stayed at the table for a minute. Laura closed her datapad. John looked out the big window. The small white shuttle still floated there. Plain, quiet, unchanged. Laura spoke first. Think they learned anything? John smiled small. Some did. Some will need time. But the next summit will feel different. They stood up. They walked toward the corridor that led to their dock. Behind them, the lights dimmed slow. The station AI turned off the holoscreens. The round table sat empty again. Outside, ships began to move. Vorath dreadnoughts turned slow and heavy. Zenthari swarms pulled together like clouds. Krellin cruisers rolled away like sleeping giants. One by one, they left the area. The white shuttle waited until last. Its engines glowed soft blue. It slipped away gentle into the black. No one followed it. No one fired. No one laughed. Word spread fast after that. Not in loud boasts, in quiet messages between captains, in stories told in dark ship bars. They said 2 humans came alone to the biggest peace summit in a generation. They said those 2 humans faced down fleets without raising a fist first. They said when pushed, those humans moved like water and steel at the same time. They said the reason Earth never brings its army is simple. The army stays home, because if it comes, there is no need for summits anymore. There is only aftermath. And no one wants that. Years later, captains still pointed out the small white shuttles when they docked at neutral stations. No one called them toys. No one tested them. Everyone remembered. John and Laura flew home quiet. Stars passed slow outside their windows. Laura looked at John. Was it worth the risk? He watched the black for a long time. Yes, he said, because today a lot of people get to keep living the way they want. Tomorrow too. That is worth a bruise or 2. She smiled. Next summit? He shrugged. If they invite us. Same way. Same shuttle. Laura laughed soft. Same 2 people. John nodded. Same rules. Talk first, fight last, and only if there is no other choice. The shuttle jumped to faster than light. The stars stretched into lines. Earth waited far ahead. Blue and green and peaceful. No fleets patrolled its skies today. They did not need to, because the real strength stayed quiet until someone forgot why, and then it would answer. Fast, clean, final. But for now the galaxy remembered, and peace held, a little longer, a little stronger, because 2 people from a small world sat at a big table and did not blink.